Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Great Scott! There's no crying in baseball!
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
This is where the fun begins.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's right. We're ranking The Mandalorian and Grogu. The Mandalorian and Grogu is a 2026 American science fiction film. It is a standalone film within the Star Wars franchise and a continuation of the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. In the film, the Mandalorian and Grogu embark on a new mission across the galaxy as they work with the New Republic to confront lingering threats after the Empire's fall. Now, I am a Star Wars fan. Am I a fanatic? No, I definitely don't watch everything, especially anything with the new trilogy and on. I haven't really watched many Star Wars things because I'm not into TV shows like that. So, did I watch The Mandalorian? No, I watched a complete summary of The Mandalorian, so I didn't get to experience all the time with these characters that maybe some other people have. Was I forced to watch The Clone Wars by my fiance? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Are there some bits in this that you can enjoy if you watch The Clone Wars? Yes. Did I miss some things because I didn't watch other TV shows? Probably. This is kind of a mess, kind of not. I think this movie is getting a little more hate than is warranted. I think people maybe are just disappointed by the fact that it's a Star Wars movie, but it doesn't feel big like one. Let's get into why I did enjoy this movie, but overall it is a little disappointing with the 10 essential aspects of a movie. First is plot. Does the movie follow a comprehensive story arc and is plausible within the world that has been created? Now, this is a franchise, and whenever we're talking about a franchise or a sequel, I like to ask, did this movie warranted being made, or were you just trying to capitalize off the success of this franchise and make some money? I think it's a little bit of both, right? I do think that this is such a large franchise that it's under a lot of scrutiny, and you're gonna have very different fans. You're gonna have the fans that just enjoy it for the fact that it's Star Wars. They don't really care about anything else. They just like Star Wars stuff, and so they'll enjoy it. But then you have the people who are the true soul fans of Star Wars. They care about the serious aspect of it, and so you care about every minute detail, and if something's wrong, then it just isn't good. The first thing you need to know about this movie and its plot is that this movie is made for fun. I didn't necessarily know that going into it, but halfway through the movie, it's evident that this movie is just for fun. You can't look into it too hard. There's going to be lots of plot holes. I do think that Grogu is very poorly written. He's incredibly inconsistent. As far as the knowledge that I knew from him within the show, you kind of have to forget what he can and can't do because there's so many moments within this plot that you ask questions of, why didn't Grogu do this? Why did he do it? Why did he do this? He could do this at this point in the movie, but he didn't do anything at this point in the movie. At a certain point, I had to stop looking at all the plot holes because it's kind of ruining the experience, because I just don't think that this movie was meant to be taken that serious. You could say that I'm giving it a crutch. Sure, possibly, because I really do enjoy Star Wars themed things. So I just wanted to enjoy the movie, but it did bother me. A lot of the plot points were really, really silly. There's a lot of poorly written things. There's a lot of plot holes. I did think that The Mandalorian, the first scene of this movie is really, really awesome. He just seems like the John Wick of the Star Wars universe. He's just going around killing people like no tomorrow, and he's looking cool doing it. But then it's kind of stupid for the rest of the movie. He's kind of naive. There's certain points where he's doing cool things and you're like, yeah, obviously this is a bounty hunter that's been around and knows how to get things done. But then he gets knocked out like 20 times in the film and he's unconscious for like a good portion of this film. He's captured or unconscious or falls into a trap and you're like, okay, how naive is he? There's just a lot of things that you kind of have to forget. If you're going into this really hoping to dissect the plot and it be serious and good, you're in the wrong place. This is a movie that you need to sit back, turn off your brain, and just enjoy it for being Star Wars material. Second is attraction. Does the movie have an interesting premise with a high entertainment value? Like I said, if you can shut your brain off and you're a Star Wars fan, you can enjoy parts of the movie. It's not the best film. It's not even close. but there's something to be enjoyed, which I am a Star Wars fan, and I did cut my brain off, and there's parts I just enjoyed. I imagine if you enjoy the show, you're probably going to enjoy this movie. I can't imagine that the tones of the show and the movie are very different. They didn't seem that way to me. This honestly seemed, and I have read some people saying that this movie just felt like basically 4 episodes of the show crammed into a movie, and I could totally see that. That is what it felt like. It's just not that serious. So if you can do that, then you'll enjoy it. I do think this is a very kid-friendly film, which I liked about it. Like I said, it's just for fun. I don't think kids are gonna care about the way it's written, but they'll enjoy it, and they can. There's no like excessive violence or anything. I think this is something that it has characters that kids can latch onto, but also things that you can look at and enjoy as an adult. So if you can turn your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is, I do think this is a decent movie to enjoy as an adult, but also kids can enjoy. Third is theme. What message or truth is a movie trying to convey? The theme of this movie is honestly very, very basic. They don't ever really get deep enough. They don't really have intense moments to put any sort of heavy theme in here. It really is just about what the title is. It's Mandalorian and Grogu. It's about their friendship. That's what the whole movie is about, them just taking care of each other in some way. It's pretty basic. There's a tone here of, you know, Rada the Hutt talking about not wanting to be like his father, Jabba the Hutt, and he reminds you of it 20,000 times. So maybe you could take something out of that, but honestly, it's a pretty basic themed movie. Fourth is dialogue. Is there a real feel to the conversations? No, I do think this is the weakest part of the film, or one of at least. It's not consistent at all. Characters will say things and then do something that totally contradicts what they were saying earlier. They just kind of change tones. I also did not watch the show, so I'm not really familiar with The Mandalorian and Grogu in a deeper sense, and I found that The Mandalorian is just this very monotoned, very boring character as far as conversations go, and that's fine. He's a bounty hunter. If you want to make him that way, it totally makes sense, but the problem is he does a decent amount of the talking because he's the main guy, and Grogu doesn't say anything, so he's doing a lot of talking, and so it's kind of boring, and it's just very bland lines. I wish they would have been a little more creative with the conversations to make it more interesting. I wish they would have wrote it with a little bit more consistency. Rada the Hutt is probably one of the more interesting characters, but they really make him one-dimensional. He just has one thing about him. The one thing that defines him is being his Jabba the Hutt's son, and he just doesn't want to be like him, and that's it. And it reminds you 20,000 times in the movie and never really moves on to anything else. Even though he could have been a lot more interesting of a character because the Mandalorian is so monotone. And of course, Grogu is Grogu. He's not saying anything. He's just like a baby. Personally, I'm not a real fan of the Grogu humor. Is he cute? Sure. Do I like him that much that I love seeing all the scenes and I'm going, oh, he's so cute? No, I'm not. I just didn't like it that much. I didn't find him that cute and funny all the time. So definitely the weakest part of the movie for me. Fifth is acting. Are the characters convincing? I stopped recording the last session and realized I feel like I was going back and forth like a little bobblehead the whole time. Pedro Pascal is a Mandalorian. Honestly, is he good? Yeah, he's good. I just feel like it's a complete waste of a casting. Like, it's such a monotone, non-emotional character, and you have this really good actor playing him. It just is what it is. It's just like, why would you waste that? At least I understand that when he first got the role, maybe they didn't realize how good of an actor he was, but it's been, seasons and seasons. You know how good he is. He's in everything nowadays. Like, give the Mandalorian a scene, like, they've been together. Grogu and him have been together and created this bond that's pretty strong. I just don't understand why you couldn't put in a good emotional scene to, let him flex a little bit. Is it a big deal? No, it just feels like a waste. That being said, Jeremy Allen White as Rada the Hutt, what a waste. This guy's extremely talented. He's a really good actor. He can, convey some good emotion. And anybody could have voiced Rada the Hutt and it would have been fine. I just don't understand some of these casting choices to put like big names in roles that are just kind of wasted on a big name. 6 is cinematography. Is there a creative use of lighting, setting, and wardrobe to convey emotion? This is by far my favorite part of the movie. I love the Star Wars aesthetic. I just love the sci-fi theme. I love everything about just the design and style of the world. So much so that I had to write all of them down because I didn't want to forget all the things I liked. The Mandalorian, cool character, just looks cool. He's so, I don't know, I just love it. I love that armor. He's such a cool person to have as the main character, especially being like this bounty hunter now that he's good, but he's still so intimidating looking. It's just, I don't know, I liked it. I like the armor. The settings are cool. They go to this city. I don't remember where it's at, but I love that little city. The city they went in, the aesthetic was so cool, the neon lights and everything. I really enjoy seeing. In Star Wars, there are definitely lots of scenes and movies that are just desolate planets or just not much going on. It's desert or whatever, or ice. I like when they're in the cities. I like when I can see all the life of the world, all the different species. It's really fun. There's so much to look at, and it just looks great in this film. I also put down, there's a ton of alien monsters in this movie, and it's really fun. It's great to look at. There's just a ton of cool characters to see. I mean, it's one of the more interesting parts of Star Wars is it's so fleshed out. There are so many species to be explored, and they explore a lot of them in this film, and it's really, really cool. That being said, with the monsters, the action is awesome. I really like all the fighting in this movie. They definitely did a good job of having choreography that was really fun and cool to look at and felt big. And I like that they didn't make the Mandalorian feel like he's just okay. And when he's fighting, he stands out. He does seem like a guy that's really good at his job, a guy that's been doing it for a long time. So it's definitely fun to see him fight every time in this movie. Like I said, the intro scene is him just basically being John Wick of Star Wars, and it's awesome. It's fun to see, and that's not the last time you get to see it. There's a couple other times that he's fighting, and you're like, yeah, this guy's the man. I like that. I like when they make characters who are supposed to be, cool. They just give him a scene where they dominate everybody. Are there parts where he kind of looks stupid because he looks naive? Yes, but the cinematically, it looks cool when he is fighting. Emotion-wise, nothing. I felt nothing. Like I said, Mandalorian is super just monotone, not interesting. There's never a moment where he really steps out of that and gets emotional. Grogu is just supposed to be cute. That wore off pretty quick with me. There's probably a lot of people that will really enjoy that. I'm not one of them. I just didn't find it all that great for as many times as they try to squeeze. Look how cute he is. Look how cute he is. It just isn't me. There's no moment in this movie that they give you the weight to feel any sort of emotion, but I don't know if this movie was ever really supposed to do that. I do think that this movie was supposed to just be a good time. 7th is editing. This is all about the pace of the movie. The movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes long. Way, way too long. It definitely drug out. I wish this movie would have been an hour 40, hour 50 tops. It just did not need to be 2 hours and 12 minutes for the type of movie it was going for. If it was going to be a little more emotional and try and get you invested more in the characters and what was happening, or maybe some of the side characters introduced by this movie, then okay, I'll give you some time to flesh that out. But they didn't do any of that, so this movie definitely dragged on for what I thought it was going for. 8th is soundtrack. The soundtrack is good. It's good enough to be in Star Wars, right? I mean, you have John Williams with his original, music, and you're just not going to get better than that. It's fantastic. It's probably the single most well-known music as far as film goes at all. I'm not going to hold it to that standard. I don't think it's as memorable as that, of course. Some people who are in love with The Mandalorian, I'm sure, love it, and it's memorable to them. To someone like me who had no idea about it, it's not memorable enough. It's possible that I can hear it and say, oh, I think that's The Mandalorian. I do think it had opportunity to be more memorable if the film added those moments. If there was moments where it got really intense and meaningful, then maybe I would have noticed a little bit more of the music and what it was doing for my feelings, but that just didn't occur. So to me, it's not necessarily memorable, but it definitely is good music. 9th is directing. Now, I feel the director is in charge of the previous 8 aspects. They're the ones that have to put it all together, give it their stamp of approval, and make a really good movie. Now, the director of this movie is Jon Favreau, and this was his 10th film. The 10 films he's directed to this point are Made, Elf, Zathura, A Space Adventure, Iron Man 2, Cowboys and Aliens, Chef, The Jungle Book, The Lion King, and The Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm not gonna lie, I think he's a great director, but I do think he's kind of just been taking in the checks as far as just working for Disney. I do think that he has produced better films, but they were in the past. It seems like his films aren't getting any better. I don't know what's necessarily going on. I've watched a lot of his movies. I actually do have a review on this channel of Iron Man if you want to go check that out. But I've seen some of the other ones as well, and I really enjoy them. I really enjoy Elf. Zathura was a great movie. I did enjoy Cowboys and Aliens. Iron Man is a fantastic movie. And though I did enjoy movies like The Jungle Book, I do think he's just kind of getting weaker. Or I just don't know if he's trying that hard and is just collecting a paycheck. I don't know. I do think he's a great director. I think when he wants to do some great things, he really can. He does do some great things with this movie. Like I said, the cinematography is fantastic. I really loved all of the scenes that it had. It had so many cool looking scenes, so many good settings, and characters looked great. There was a lot to like cinematically, but really story-wise, it just wasn't that great. It didn't feel like it needed to be a movie. It just felt like episodes of a show. I do think that's what he was going for. I don't think he was going for some big impact movie. He was just trying to make a movie that is some fun. So I do think that he is able to accomplish what he wants as a director, but I don't know if he's necessarily trying that hard anymore. 10th is time. Will it stand the test of time? It's part of Star Wars, so I do think it will always kind of be around. It's definitely one of the least memorable in my mind. I think between the show and then this movie and being part of the Star Wars movies, it will somewhat always stick around, but it's not going to be nearly as memorable as a lot of Star Wars movies. I think it'll always kind of be a fun movie, but I just don't know if people are going to look at it with a great light as time goes on. Now for the review section. Rotten Tomatoes critics gives it a 62, the audience gives it an 88, and IMDb gives it a 70. I do think that 88 is high. If you're just a Star Wars fan, you love The Mandalorian, you love anything Star Wars, I could see you putting it up this high. I think objectively it's not nearly that good of a movie. With bias of me just enjoying Star Wars, really enjoying the world, and it also having the advantage of being so far into a universe and storyline that has been fleshed out so much and has so much history behind it and kind of riding off the shoulders of other great works, I would put this movie at a low B. Objectively, I do think it's a C kind of movie. I think 70 is probably about right. I do think you could probably put it a little higher, just because even though it is riding off the coattails of a lot of great parts about Star Wars, it's still there and it still explores them nicely. It still puts a lot of great things and great aspects into it. I think it is a C level kind of movie objectively. It does what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't really do anything extra. It's just kind of a turn your brain off and watch kind of movie. Finally, for the rankings. For the year of 2026, out of 4 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be second, just below Obsession and above Mortal Kombat 2. I've got it below Obsession, even though I do think that is somewhat of a niche audience. If you are willing to give that movie a chance, it's just so well done that I think you will find yourself enjoying it. It's a movie that I would like to promote and put up in entertainment because it is just really well done. It's got you thinking in a lot of ways, and I do think it has some tense aspects that will keep you entertained throughout the movie and some comedic aspects that are well done and funny. I just think that it would stand on its own and be a little more memorable than Mandalorian and Grogu, which though that is an entertainment movie, it's just not my kind of entertainment movie. And even Star Wars fans, like I'm a Star Wars fan, but I even think Star Wars fanatics are kind of disappointed with this movie overall. So somebody who doesn't even know Star Wars, I do think they would have a better time with Obsession. Now I have it above Mortal Kombat 2 just because I think that Star Wars aspect does appeal to more people. Whether you like it or not, it is a Star Wars movie. So it's going to ride off the fact of it has other films or shows that are good, and it's going to ride off that popularity. And I think people will be entertained by it more than Mortal Kombat 2. I think Mortal Kombat 2 is a little more niche, and the audience behind that is smaller than something like Mandalorian and Grogu, where it's going to have this huge Star Wars fan base. So most people are probably going to find some sort of enjoyment out of it. Cinematically, out of 4 total movies, it is going to be 4th last, below Devil Wears Prada 2. This one was really hard for me because though I am a Star Wars fan, I do have some bias here, and it's hard not to have that bias. I really, really enjoy the cinematic aspects of this movie. I liked the shots. I loved the action. Like, there's so many things to look at that I really, really enjoyed. But the truth is that it just isn't that well written. I do think it was written to be more entertaining, so I give it some slack because I kind of really envision this movie as a kids movie. It is really kids friendly. There's nothing that violent that ever happens. The story isn't complicated. It's really easy to follow. There's a cute little character. Really, it is a pretty decent kids movie, so that's kind of how I ended up ranking it. So even though I like some of the Star Wars appeals to it, it's just not that deep of a movie. It just kind of does some entertainment aspects fairly well, but the plot is poorly written. There's a lot of plot holes, and the theme isn't really that deep. So I ended up putting it below something like The Devil Wears Prada 2 because that movie is just better written, I think. I do think it's better for adults. I think as an art form, it's cleaner. It doesn't have all those plot holes. It just represents film in a better way for being just a better overall product, even though it's not necessarily as creative or in such a big setting or world. As a movie itself, it just tells a story better. For the decade of the 2020s, out of 73 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 36th, just below Nosferatu and above Gran Turismo. I have it below Nosferatu. That's actually because it is a tier below. I actually don't really like Nosferatu, but the people who liked that kind of movie really did enjoy it. And so the way I have entertainment set up between my own personal rankings and the ratings of the general audience and how people enjoyed it, people just ended up enjoying Nosferatu a lot more than I personally would have. That's really the reason it is where it is. I do have it above Gran Turismo, though that can be a fun movie and is about racing. I just think more people are going to enjoy The Mandalorian and Grogu. If you can shut off your brain and just kind of enjoy it for what it is, I think a broader audience is going to enjoy that than a racing movie like Gran Turismo. Cinematically, out of 73 total movies, it is going to be 24th, just below Transformers 1 and above Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I said, I kind of just envision this movie like a children's movie, and I just think it's a decent kids movie if you really look at it that way. It's entertaining enough. I think a kid would find entertainment in it. There's a lot to look at. If you don't take it so serious, it definitely has some good parts to it, but it just could never be above a certain level. So I put it below Transformers 1 because I do think they match kind of in creativity, but Transformers 1 does do a better job with the theme. Even though they both look great, they both have their own aspects. Like, one is animated, one is live action, so it's kind of hard to judge that. I do think they just did a better job with some of the storyline and plot aspects of Transformers 1, so I kind of give that the edge as far as just representing film as an art form. I do have it above Sonic the Hedgehog because Sonic, it did approach a theme better, but Mandalorian Grogu is very creative. The Star Wars world is so just known and fun, and this movie really does explore that. It goes to a lot of places. It shows a lot of aliens. It has some cool characters in it. I like the animatronics and everything in it. I just think that the creativity and just the world involved is more creative and represents film as an art form a little bit better for me. Is there some bias here? Probably. I just don't think Sonic is as memorable as Mandalorian and Grogu is. For taking some like creative leaps here. All time, out of 90 total movies on the entertainment side, is going to be 51st, just below Nosferatu and above Gran Turismo. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. And cinematically, out of 90 total movies, it is going to be 34th, just below Transformers 1 and above Sonic the Hedgehog. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. Okay, that's all I've got for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Though I didn't watch the show and I didn't really know a ton about it and just kind of watched a summary, I did find some stuff to enjoy in this movie. It really, really is fun to look at. I mean, I've already said that 1,000 times, but I think if you can shut your brain off, it's a decent movie. If you don't have all these expectations, it's not that bad. Does it deserve to be a Star Wars movie? I don't know. It's kind of hard because the latest trilogy wasn't that good at all. So I do think that this kind of, is on par at least with those movies. If not, most people are probably going to consider it to be better. So The original 6 films I do think are on a pedestal that it's just kind of hard to match. I don't mind it. I don't mind them making just kind of a fun Star Wars movie to enjoy. I think this movie's kind of getting a little more hate or being a little criticized stronger than it really should be. I think they had a goal in mind and they went for it. It just wasn't exactly what everyone wanted, but the product is still decent. If you watched the movie, please let me know your opinion. I really enjoy it when I get to hear what you guys think. I'm not a big channel, so if you respond, I will respond. I will see it, and we can have a conversation. That's really the whole reason I made it. I just wanted to interact with people who, you know, enjoy watching movies. If you got this far, thank you for getting this far and giving me a shot. If you have any tips for me, please let me know. Otherwise, comment a movie, and I will review it and tag you in it so you know when I review it. Anyways, that's all I got. I'm Mr. Majoritarian. Stay classy, San Diego.